based on its environment?
Well, when you take a mitochondria and shrink it down, that brings the respiratory proteins closer together. What do we know in quantum physics? Anytime you have an energy transfer, when electrons move across a redox couple, the closer they are together, the more energy efficient they are. Isn't that interesting? I started putting these things together. I said, somehow that must be important. Then I started to read papers that every 1 angstrom, the distance between respiratory proteins drops off the energy it makes by a factor of 10. So what did I start to realize? Was being a fat ass really tied to energy excess? Or is it maybe tied to energy loss back to the environment? Got me thinking, and I wasn't sure, but this paper came from the #1 mitochondrial researcher in the world. If you don't know his name, this is a name you want to write down. Dr. Doug Wallace.
He used to be at UCI. He's now in Philadelphia.
And he just won the front.
Wallace, W-A-L-L. Oh, sorry, from the top. So W-A-L-L-A-C-E, Doug Wallace. He's got a bunch of YouTube.
Oh.
He's pretty bright, but his whole deal is mitochondria. And if you had one thing in the next 20 years to really be listening for, it's all about improving mitochondrial function.
Franklin Award, that's usually something they give to somebody before they win a Nobel. He's going to win a Nobel Prize. He's the guy that found out that mitochondria are inherited from your mother only. He's also the one that linked all diseases, and this is going to shock you, because I know most people don't know this. You have 2 genomes inside every cell. You have your nuclear genome and you have your mitochondria. Medicine focuses in on the genetic one. I don't. I focus in on the mitochondrial one. The reason for that, it makes all the energy in your body.
So that's real big. It's genetics, but it's not nuclear genetics. It's mitochondrial genetics. And I apologize, we're only going to do this a couple more minutes. But you can see how complex this gets. But this is at that level that most of us doctors don't dabble in. But once you get it, it makes all the sense and explains all the chronic diseases.
And guess what we now know from the science of epigenetics? Energy turns on and off the genome. That's the only thing that does it. So we come to a point. How do we make energy proximal to a mitochondria in our body? Where does the process first start? Well, this is when I started to look at sunlight. And there's an interesting thing here. What your eyes can see is 380 to 780, okay? Just for those of you who don't know, this is UV light, UVA, and that's red light. But here's the funny thing. The spectrum of the sun goes from, this is actually incorrect, this is Dr. Wunsch's slide, but it's 250 all the way up to 3,000. So it raised a question, why are we not seeing these? And not only that, why is the retina, because most of you may not know this, we as humans are blind to UV light and to infrared light. We can't.
So anyway, I won't bore you with all that, but I find it fascinating. But if you want to, you can listen to all that. It's quite good. Happy to go over with you, but I did want to show one thing that I didn't pull up, so I got to pull it up now. But if you look at hemoglobin, so if you look at chlorophyll and hemoglobin, very interestingly, and this sort of floored me, and the reason, I'll have to tell you the reason I did this. So when I was young, my professor was super smart in med school. Anyway, she invented what's called hemoglobin A1C, which is super important for diabetics. And I kind of was showing off a little bit. So she told me, because I was getting nervous when I see it, to go up to the board, show off, and draw the hemoglobin molecule and label the histidines and then break it on down. So like if you get punched, you know it gets black and blue, and then eventually it gets kind of yellowish and goes away. So every one of those colors is a chemical. Bottom line is I didn't do very well in that. But what I'd like to bring up is we all know that plants are chlorophyll, and chlorophyll basically has this ring of nitrogens with magnesium. Our iron, our hemoglobin, is very close to that. And the theory is that blood is to ferry light to our body. So it's an interesting thing to look at that chemically they probably do very similar things, and that's why healthy, sensible sunlight is very vital to us, and you feel better if you get the right amount of sunlight based on what's called your haplotype and how much you're out there. So now to shift gears a little bit, let's say like I take care of a lot of people at Pachanga and some other shift workers that don't get the sun. Like they just literally never get to see the sunlight. Are they just going to die early, or is there something they can do? So this is a device, just to show you sort of where this is going, that we're using with some of the people to try to improve their situation given that they are uncoupled to the sun.
The human body is incredible. It can evolve, amaze us, inspire us. Some push it to the limit, or simply look after it. Our bodies are supposed to be connected to our world, but our modern lifestyle disconnects us from it. This decoupling makes us age faster and affects our performance. It also leads to stress, fatigue, inflammation, pain, and eventually disease. That's why we've developed the Quantlet.
So it's like a big watch you would wear that goes
Based
to your
on
radial
scientific
artery.
breakthroughs from the world's leading universities and institutions such as NASA, the Quantlet leverages clinical and experimental research in the fields of photobiomodulation, physiology, and sports medicine to reimagine human performance. Harnessing technology that has been explored for over 5 decades in over 4,000 trials performed in clinics, hospitals, and elite sports institutions in more than 70 countries around the globe. The Quantlet delivers multiple frequencies of light at just the right intensity into the body, giving it what it craves at a cellular level. The Quantlet also helps the body maintain its optimal temperature, enabling it to perform at its best. When the body overheats because of physical strain or disease, physical performance and cognitive function are impaired. Using the Quantlet allows you to feel more refreshed and less fatigued, helping your body to meet whatever demands you place on it. You're reconnecting your body's cells to the most natural elements that it depends on for optimal function. Light and cold. The Quantlet. Human performance reimagined.
So crazy talk. But so there are things that shift workers can do to sort of what I call biohack their life. So I just kind of want to finish up then with, again, just introducing you to the concept that literally light is medicine, that there's risk and benefits to light, and just like you have to decide what you're going to eat, I think you have to decide what kind of environment you have. You know, what we used to do, you know, not like, you know, like Saddam Hussein was reportedly, you know, you give him light and sleep deprivation. I mean, that is frankly torture. Might we be doing that to ourselves? If you don't get good sleep and you don't go outside, why do you think Prozac's off the hook? And why do you think these people kill themselves? You don't get the right environment in these sort of situations. We're not as surprised at all when a rock and roller kills themselves. Like, I'm still grieving for Michael. It's just, and all he wanted to do was fall asleep. I mean, he gave himself, you know, he had a doc give him propofol and stuff. And so the challenge is that they're basically living under blue light. I haven't really gone through blue light much, but I talked about it at the sleep. That this is not necessarily healthy light for us. It's unbalanced blue light. It takes its toll. And so I would love you guys just to keep learning about sort of the dangers of indoor. And I'm not saying, you know, never go indoors, but that's why I wear these kind of glasses, to protect myself. And then I think just like when we wear a helmet with a bike, if your kids are on technology, give them something to protect themselves from that technology. We don't know what it does to, like, my 2-year-old granddaughter who's addicted to, you know, what's that shark thing, you know?
Baby shark.
Yeah, baby shark. Yeah. So, you know, they love that. They'll watch that over and over. She's like the little iPad stealer and stuff. And so we haven't had those, even those of us, you know, we've had it for 20 years. What's going to happen when you're, you know, having it for 90 years? So I think these sort of folks that are rock and rollers need to understand that it's not good to be uncoupled from the sun. They're under a lot of electromagnetism. There's a lot of things you talk about. But you literally make dopamine in the middle of the, you know, in the morning if you get the right light. Literally, as I said, John Denver was correct. Sunshine will make you high. You feel better if you get some sunlight. So to me, I just want to step back and say, okay, what is the best environment for us? Can we get sensible sun exposure so that that actually helps with your health? Because I think if you get that right, and that's why I'm doing this lifestyle course, because I don't think it's just what you eat. I don't think it's just your exercise. We used to think that if I got the oven hot enough, I could correct anything. So I was a marathoner, and we did, you know, I do up to, you know, over 100 miles a week, and we thought that was all the greatest things, but it isn't, because you have to look at your nutrition. I got a stent in my heart when I was 45, even though I did all the right stuff beforehand, because you have to look at your environment. And so given all of this, I am excited with the fact that there's a lot of research out there. My goal for you is frankly to irritate and confuse you a little bit in the sense like, hey, let's learn about this. We all like light. At some level we know we like it. Why do we like it? Well, it's probably our biology. We like that. Do we want to get a sunburn? No. But do we want to be healthy? Yes. And I think you need to eat well, move well, sleep well. I think you have to have good light environment as much as you can given your scenario. You need to work on water, and we'll talk about that next week. I think you have to be very respectful of the amount of electromagnetism, both normal electromagnetism you get from the sun, but non-native electromagnetism that we as men are creating. And then the final thing is, like you're doing, is get with a group of like-minded people that we all, you know, sort of can help each other to be the best versions of ourselves. Thank you very much.
If you have, like, your vitamin D level is like at 45, and you said optimal is 60. If you're doing the app and you're going out daily, how long does it take to increase your vitamin D?
Great question. So her question, just to reiterate, was that say you're at 45 and you want to get to 60, how long does it take? It really just depends on, you know, how sort of consistent you are. Interestingly, there's sort of two kinds of vitamin D. There's vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. So D2 is actually what we prescribe, and it's really kind of worthless because it doesn't, we give like 50,000 and it doesn't last very long. D3 actually lasts for several weeks. Is what they thought. Again, it depends on how much fat you have and those sorts of things. So in general, we don't recommend checking vitamin D any more than every 3 months. So to me, I would, you know, I basically wait at least 3 months to do that. And so for most people, it turns out to be about 6,000 international units is what you need as a supplement. They come as gel caps. They're really dirt cheap at Costco, and you take 3 of those a day and then get it checked. But that's what most people need. Interestingly, if you're African American, you probably will need more because you need like 6 times the amount of sunlight, and we just don't get that out here.
So you should take 6,000 IUs.
In general, that's a good rough estimate to start with, and then measure, and you can adjust it.
So it's taking 5,000, like a lot of them have 5,000 IUs.
Yeah, so I would start with 5,000 and measure, and then if that's not enough, then you go. Because you know, I have some people on 10,000 a day. It just depends on how you absorb it and those sorts of things. Yes, Ms. Watson.
I got these glasses at Costco recently, got the lenses changed so it would have that blocker of the blue light. Only at nighttime? During the day, should I wear my other pair that doesn't have it?
Yeah, so his question is about, he has what I'm calling technology glasses that are blue blocking glasses. My opinion, again, everybody's can do something, but in general, all of this light kind of is like noonday sun. If I look at my phone, which we look at an average of 150 times a day, I mean, you can count how much you do. Every time you look at it, it's telling your body to wake up. It's noonday. We love blue skies. This is blue, so it looks like, hey, it's noon, wake up. So my opinion is try to get as much, again, I'm talking about my kind of life where I'm kind of indoors a lot, and I have little episodes where I can go out sun for a little bit, is I try to get as much full spectrum sunlight as I can. So I always drive with one window cracked towards the sun. And what's neat is light will go all around. So I try to get as much, and I try to watch the sun rise as much as I can so that my body knows to wake up and actually makes melatonin, dopamine, and beta endorphins. And then in the middle of the day, you can kind of get some sunlight, and then I protect my eyes towards the end of the day. Getting back to his question, I wear these anytime I'm indoors. So these are what I wear when I go indoors because I just don't want just unbalanced blue light. And then 3 hours or so before I'm supposed to fall asleep, I'll put on my darker glasses like he had on. If I didn't really care, then I would wear those other glasses most of the time. If you see me in spin class in the morning, I wear sunglasses at 5:30 in the morning because I don't like the kind of light that comes off of those sorts of things. So just think of it a little bit like a helmet for your eyes, that you want full spectrum sunlight, you do not want a sunburn, and again, I'm just totally flipping everything around. I don't wear sunglasses. I try to protect my eyes. Now, if I'm in the super bright light, yeah, I'll wear them and/or I'll have a hat. But in general, I try to get as much full spectrum sunlight during the day, and I don't wear sunglasses, but I'll wear sleep and night glasses. So it switches everything around. You can make your, you can learn his stuff. You can make your house. You can decide what to do. I gave you a handout on what to do for your work environment, but the darker the better. So what you want, your body likes a light-dark cycle. And so my wife gets so irritated with me because I always shut lights off, and I'm fine with that. And we just, we live together, so we make some evaluations. And if she wants it on, I put on my, my blue blocking glasses and stuff. And so it is something that's a work in progress. But if you just understand that light is medicine and light is a way to good health, and you live in a certain situation, we call it biohacking. Like, figure out how can you get around it to do it. So I'll be curious to see how you do with that, but you should start to sleep better if you protect your eyes from unbalanced blue light, and then at night. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only reason I asked that question is because I was wearing these when I would go to work, and then I finished that undoctored book. His comment in the book was, wear these at night when the sun goes down, because you don't want to block out good light during the day.
Correct.
So that's why I asked.
Yeah, so if you're outside, I don't wear glasses.
Yeah.
But if I'm inside, I wear glasses. Again, totally different. I'm not saying sunburn your eyes. I'm just saying, just understand. And think of it this way. Our body is essentially set up like if you bought a plant from Home Depot and you put a tarp on top, how do you think that plant would do? That's kind of the scenario. We need light to set a lot of biological things. And there's a whole thing called chronobiology that you can kind of look at. So to me, I'm just very excited that we have these options. It's not just eat this, don't eat that. It's really enjoy your lifestyle. But I think light, it's a fascinating subject. Yes, ma'am.
Do we ask for ophthalmologist or optometrist for technology glasses? Is that
Yes,
well?
you could actually buy them. I have some being delivered today. They didn't quite get here for this class. But yeah, you can just buy them. They're very inexpensive, like $12 or less. You can get the sleep glasses, they're under $10. But if you talk to your optometrist, they already know about this, and they can put them in your prescription. These are my prescriptions. I just had them put that in there. Interestingly, and you guys can let me know if this is true or not, because so far it's held up. All the cataract surgery that people have, all those lenses have blue blocking in them. They're putting in blue blocking already, and they're not telling everybody, but if you ask, they'll tell you. So they know, optometrists know this. Most of us regular doctors don't know this. But to me, the challenge of unbalanced blue light, it takes a biological toll.
When I was at, I got these at Costco, but when I was at the eye doctor getting my eyes checked and done for a while, I asked the question to the kid there, and I go, do you wear glasses normally? He goes, no, what are those for? He goes, oh, I'm in outdoors all day looking at the computer. So he had a special pair that looked just like reading glasses, looked pretty sharp, that he had especially for that thing.
Right.
So, and he's working for the people, the doctors, what they
Imagine how much time people are on computers. Nobody knows this, and I'm such a bad doctor, I'm not getting the word out. But with Margaret and Justin's help, we get the word out. Mr. Levin, you had your hand up, sir.
I wanted to just say how much, one of the main things I enjoyed about your presentation was the way it centers me and us, if we see it that we're not just moving from one enclosure to another. I'm really opening up to medicine in the form of sunlight. I never thought of it that way. I think it will help me absorb the benefit.
I get it, absorb the benefit. I hear what you said. No, I appreciate it, thank you. That's my goal, is that basically it's lifestyle medicine. And unless we're in prison, we have the ability to change our situation. But I want to give you the science so you can be good about it and not just follow guidelines and political sort of recommendations, but follow the science and then kind of listen to your body, be careful. But I think this is the healthiest way to live, and I'm just very, very excited that we have this. My challenge is I haven't had a lot of things to refer people to, and so that's why with Margaret and Justin's help, we will have some of these things that you could show your friends and like, yeah, here's this weirdo doctor, but at least then you can like start to learn this stuff, which is great now that we have YouTubes and Netflix and all these other things, audible books to listen to. And then my goal is that you guys are smarter than me and you teach me this stuff, because all of us can get better. But medicine, we're at a crisis where we can't do more procedures and give more pills. It's not working. But if you really work on lifestyle, all the chronic diseases go away, and that's our big burden. We're still going to have car crashes and this and that, but the vast majority of our challenges, especially mental health, neurocognitive diseases, are going to be a huge burden. Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, how about attention deficit disorder? All of those things are fixed with a better lifestyle. All right, we'll go ahead and stop, and then I'll take questions so we can get going. And please eat a lot of what Melanie had, and I'll be here. And any way I can make this better, let me know. Thank you very much.
Thank you.